December 12, 2024. Can I have a roll call, please?
Mr. Carrico,
Present.
Mr. Marion, Mr. Tholen, Ms. Parker, Mr. Swanson, Mr. Featherling, Mr. Dunhill, Mr. Miller, Mr. Kirkstra, Mr. Smith, Mr. Rittman Emmy,
Present.
Ms. Amber Turner, Mr. Crutcher, Mr. Nims, Ms. Denise Turner, Mr. Alexander Hildebrand, and Mr. Long. We do have a quorum.
Thank you. All right. First of all, I'd like to welcome all the new members to this committee. And if you have any questions anytime, just got my phone number up online, so just reach out to me or my email. So welcome. Next, we're gonna need a motion to accept Mr. Rittman Emmy in the meeting. Motion on the second, okay. Donnell and then Smith. Everybody in favor signify by say aye. Aye. Anybody opposed, same sign. Okay, welcome. Yes, sir.
I'd like to make a motion to amend the agenda for the engineer.
Hold on a second. Go ahead, sir.
Make a motion, we adjust the agenda for Greg's stuff to be up first, so.
Are we talking about the proposal, the purchase of the
Yes.
new boom mower?
Yes.
Mower?
And then we got some pay estimates to look at too, right, Greg?
Right, so
There's only
we're
one,
talking
right?
about moving after item 5.
Yes.
Gotcha. So we got a motion, can I have a second to that? Mr. Smith, everybody in favor signify by say aye.
Aye.
Anybody opposed, same sign. Okay, thank you, sir. Next, is there any public comments? Any public comments? You know, moving forward to the approval of the minutes, we're gonna have two. And if you don't mind to make a motion to combine and approve both at the same time, which are gonna be the highway and waterways from November the 21st, and then buildings and grounds from November the 14th, both from 2024. Mr. Donnell? Okay, so here it is. Ms. Turner? Amber Turner. Okay. Everybody in favor signify by say aye.
Aye.
Anybody opposed? Same sign. Motion carries. Okay, moving on. Highways, we have Mr. Hayden here. And then the first one is gonna be a resolution authorizing the county board to designate the board chairman to, as the authority to enter into contract with the state of Illinois. Do you have anything you wanna add to that?
Well, first of all, I want to say hello to the new board members. Some of you haven't met me yet. Some of you have. My name is Greg Hayden. I'm not hidden away. I'm on the county website. I have an email address, and I'll give you my phone number too, if you so desire. It's not secret, top secret information. But just wanted to say hi to the new guys. All the old guys, I know who you are. You know who I am. As to the resolution, I'll have to tell a little story here. Up until a couple of years ago, the county engineer would sign for salt purchases with the state of Illinois. We'd fill out a sheet of paper, I'd sign it, and we'd committed ourselves to buy so many tons every year. Well, there was a warm winter a couple of years ago, and the people that signed for accepting so many tons of salt decided they didn't want to take the salt. They reneged on their promise. So as a result of that, Illinois Department of Central Management Services, who handles the salt bid, has come up with this authorization form that puts more teeth in our commitment. If we say we're going to buy it, they're going to hold us to it, and they require this resolution as part of any future salt purchases that we make from the Illinois state bid. So this is just basically authorizing our board chairman to say that we are going to buy the salt that we say we are going to buy. And that's the only thing we've used this for. It's not like we're going to use it 15 times a year. It's just for the salt bid until the state determines they want to use it for something else. So.
All right, so I'm gonna need a motion and a second, and we open for some discussion. Okay, motion by Denise Turner. Second by We will be all the way to the very back, yes. Yeah, Parker. All right, any questions or discussions? Any question about that resolution? No? All right. So I have a motion and a second. I will need a roll call, please.
Mr. Carrico?
Aye.
Ms. Parker? Mr. Featherling? Mr. Dunnell?
Aye.
Mr. Miller?
Aye.
Mr. Crookstra?
Aye.
Mr. Smith?
Aye.
Ms. Emmy?
Aye.
Ms. Amber Turner? Mr. Crutcher? Mr. Nims? Ms. Denise Turner?
Aye.
Mr. Hildebrand, Alexander Hildebrand? Motion carries.
Thank you. Ms. Parker, sometimes I cannot see you very well from here. The chairs are so high up. I'm in the same boat. I'm not very tall, so it's like I saw a little bit of the hat and say, who is that again making a motion? It's just kind of hard sometimes. But anyways, now the next will be the county pay estimate. This is a very unique thing because generally we have like a group of things to, and we generally waive the readings, but today we only have one. So I'm gonna go ahead and have you read that, if you don't mind.
I'll pace myself here. One pay estimate for our Kankakee County Highway Department. Pay estimate number 17 to Vulcan Construction Materials for the purchase of aggregate for use on our county highways in the amount of $112.39 from our county MFT fund.
That's the only one. Let me have a motion on the second first, and then we'll just, okay, Ms. Smith, Featherland second. Any questions on the big amount of money there? No? Roll call, please.
Mr. Carrico?
Aye.
Ms. Parker? Mr. Featherling? Mr. Dunnell?
Aye.
Mr. Miller?
Aye.
Mr. Kirkstra?
Aye.
Mr. Smith?
Aye.
Ms. Emmy?
Aye.
Ms. Amber Turner? Mr. Crutcher? Mr. Nims? Ms. Denise Turner? Mr. Alexander Hildebrand? Motion carries.
Thank you. We have no bidding, no letting, so we're gonna move forward to the waterways here. And the Aroma Park Sediment Management Project update. If anybody has any more questions, Ben can give you a little bit more of an update on those things. But I spoke with Ben the other day, and then he said something about that. Yes, sir.
Didn't we adjust the agenda to move the
We did.
up?
We did.
This?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
After the waterways.
We moved number 7 after the waterways.
Gotcha. Thank you.
You're welcome. But as we spoke the other day, we talked about maybe the starting time for the project, the estimated starting time. He mentioned something about the middle of March. And go ahead, Ben. You have anything else you want to add to it? Any questions for Ben when it comes to the Mr. Featherland? Go ahead, sir.
Mr. Wilson, what do we have to do to get,
You talking to the mic?
what do we have to do to get some dollars together to get the engineer, AJ, to get started on the convergence area where we wanted to do next, so we don't have to wait 2 years for a permit before we can. We had talked once about trying to get a maintenance permit for that general area in that area at one time with AJ, or the guy before AJ, I don't remember what his name was.
Charlie.
Charlie, okay. I talked with Charlie, and me and Andy and I had talked with him about, you know, getting forward, starting moving forward a little bit on the next project, you know.
I'll confirm with AJ, but I'm relatively certain we have a multi-year permit now.
But that's, I thought we were limited to.
We have a polygon in which we can work, but that's from Bridge Street well past it's a pretty decent sized box that they looked at. So,
okay.
but yeah, I'll confirm with Christopher Burke Engineering to see what we'll need to ensure that if something builds back up, Greg and his team will be able to address that. It won't be an indefinite permit. That's not the way they manage those permits, but we were hopeful in our initial talks for the edification of this committee that we would have something like a 3 or 4 or 5 year kind of window after work's done where we could, you know, fix things if need be as they. I don't think they'll fill in quite that quickly, but certainly that's the reason we have the equipment to maintain the
Well, we had
project.
a committee meeting was it last week? I think you were here, Ben. And they had talked about, everybody's concern was the convergence areas, guys from the Watsika area and upstream in Indiana and everything. It's where all our sand seems to be coagulated too in that area there.
Yeah, I think there's a greater conversation just for this group. We're talking about approaching this and kind of pacing ourselves in that the equipment we have currently taken delivery of is shore access equipment. We don't own a barge yet. We can't just do the flotilla. So sometimes it'll be difficult to get in the middle for certain projects. But this is where, as we evaluate these projects going forward, get a priority list from the the advisory committee as a recommendation, go through this body to establish a list, kind of assign some costs to that. Then we can talk about how we can evaluate and work on those. I would just say this: it's difficult to get a blanket permit across the entire Kankakee and Iroquois rivers, but also maybe there's a targeted area that this committee will feel is more important now that we've recently done work near Aroma. Maybe we want to look somewhere else. So there might be another area we'd be looking at.
I just don't want it to take 20 years to get a project going.
No, we certainly understand that.
Around the checkered line there.
Okay.
Yeah.
Thank you, sir. Ben, is anything you can tell this committee about the grant for the Aroma Park?
So I guess as far as the grant is concerned, or
what was the project entitled? What the grants for?
Okay, so a couple new faces. So we received $1 million from Senator Patrick Joyce to dredge, to remove sediment. You should use the right term. Around the boat launch for access from a public safety standpoint. So priority number one is getting emergency access to the river for public safety. A nice benefit of that is boaters and enthusiasts can use the river in the same access point. So the project was designed to build kind of a channelized approach in between the existing island and the current boat launch. So we'll dig out and kind of tee. We'll build kind of a narrower, somewhat deeper channel to keep the velocities up in that area, so that way hopefully the sediment and silt will sweep through the area. So we're not just removing all of the sand and sediment, which would not only be very expensive, but not necessarily that effective from an engineering and hydrology standpoint. And so this project is to secure a consultant to do that. They will haul away the waste. We have a good partner in the state rifle range. They'll receive the spoils from the sand from the river. And so this is kind of that project, in its entirety. So built to a design standard from Burke Engineering. Now, when we bid the project, we allowed means and methods to be defined by the contractor. And so we're looking at landing a barge. So we're going to dig out from shore, land a barge in the water, and work from there. And so when we got feedback from McCullough, their main concern about working in frozen weather is safety on the barge because they're in the water. Slip and falls are a big danger for them. And so they said, we'd really like to be looking at the backside of the winter, not right now. And so, because we on the ground were thinking, it'd be great, we could just do it right now. It's frozen and cold, and it would be a great time to do it. They had big concerns about safety, so we're certainly taking their feedback on that, and we don't want anybody getting hurt on the river. And because we're not the people to jump on the river and do the work, their guidance has been helpful in this. So we do have a meeting on Monday. We're going to be out there with McCullough to talk a little bit about the site. He's got some suggestions for us, so that'll be hopefully fruitful for us. And then we'll finalize all of our paperwork on our end. We will be bringing back to this committee the notice of award. So we've engineers drawn up the notice of award. That'll go to this committee next month, and we'll be able to. And actually, is it better to bring to a different committee? We might expedite it and bring it to a different committee, but we want to issue the notice of award so they can proceed in a timely manner.
Okay, thank you. Any questions for comments? No? Thank you, sir. All right. Next will be the Kankakee County Waterways Advisor Subcommittee update. They met on the first Thursday of this month. And there's a lot of different topics. We talked about a lot of different things, but one of the main recommendations that we went over during the subcommittee, the advisor committee, was to start working on the standard agreement for the access to the river by the properties, because we have the plans to start the work. As Ben was, saying before, it was like maybe sometime in the spring, and we need to have this agreement so we can actually work with the residents and not have any conflict with the properties. So right now, I think you've been working with the state's attorney's office to start looking into that, right?
Correct. He's started to do some research to figure out if something exists, if not from us, through other agencies, and we're still working on that.
Okay. Just make sure we have all the liabilities, everything covered. So, and that was what actually one of the major recommendations that advisory committee brought up to this committee. They're going to be meeting again. That will be on February 6th, on Thursday, February 6th at 8:30 here in this room. Anybody's welcome to come in and watch that. And if you're a board member, you can come in and sit in your seat, whatever you want to like to do on that day. So they meet every 2 months, and their function is to make suggestions to this committee. So that was it for the advisory committee. So since we moved the number 7 up, what we're gonna do is the next one would be the proposal to purchase the new boom mower with the mower deck, and I'm gonna need a motion on a second, and we're gonna be into a little bit of a discussion and comments. Mr. Smith, second. Ms. Parker? Sir? Fetterlin. Oh, Smith's right there. You guys look alike a little bit. You got it. She got it. But anyways, so we got a motion on the second. Any comments, any questions on that? Have you seen the machine at all? I watch a few videos on that machine. It's just amazing. And this is the Generation 3. It's a very, very up-to-date things. It's a really, really cool piece of equipment that can actually do a lot of different things. And one of the things I already asked him about that is that it doesn't have the mulch head, right?
No, we ordered that separately. We will be able to attach that to this machine because we'll have a front attachment where anything that would fit on a skid steer that would attach to that will attach to the front of this machine, which makes it a lot valuable. You can do a lot of things, kind of like a utility infielder, if you will.
So what do we have right now that can be attached to the arm attachment?
We have a broom attachment. We have a mulcher. It's like a 5-foot wide mulcher. You can just go down off the road, and something that a mower can't handle, but the mulcher will go right through it like butter. We have a grinder. Say if we have to grind out the pavement, we can attach the grinder to the front of it and go down the road. What we're proposing to buy with this that we don't have is a Buffalo blower. It's a turbine blower that, say we're making a mess on the road, we can clean that mess up as we go. And then the other attachment is a grapple, which I know we have grapple on some of our equipment already. For instance, the excavator for the river work has a grapple on it. And we also have a grapple on the Gradle. But what makes this handy is, say you have a tree fall down in the middle of the night. In the winter, we'd go out there with a plow, and we could plow the tree off the road, and then we can open the road up. In the summer, well, the plows aren't attached anymore. This could drive out to the job, lift the thing up, move it off the road. If it's too big to cut up and to carry away, we can get the road open and back to normal, and then we come back the next day and cut up whatever's sitting on the side of the road.
Any questions, comments? Question on purchase of the equipment? No? All right. We'll go for a vote. Roll call, please.
Mr. Carrico?
Aye.
Ms. Parker? Mr. Featherling? Mr. Dunnell?
Aye.
Mr. Miller?
Aye.
Mr. Kirkstra?
Aye.
Mr. Smith?
Aye.
Ms. Emmy?
Aye.
Ms. Amber Turner? Mr. Crutcher? Mr. Nims?
Aye.
Ms. Denise Turner? Mr. Alexander Hildebrand? Motion carries.
Thank you.
I wanted to make something clear, no one asked, but it is in our budget too.
I was waiting for someone to ask that question. Nobody did, so I'm glad he was voting, huh?
I already knew that.
Good. All right. Is there anything else you have for us?
That's all I've got.
All you got. All right. So thank you, sir.
All right.
Next, it will be the buildings. Mr. Workman. Good morning, sir. Okay. It's under the buildings here. We have the facility do the report. And go ahead, sir.
Good morning, everybody. I just want to introduce myself to the new people here, and I don't see some faces that I've seen before. My name's Ted Workman. I'm born and raised locally out of Moments. I've been in the construction trades for over 30 years, so my experience and knowledge is pretty handy in this position. I do understand most of what's going on throughout the buildings, and I hope to keep running them as smooth as Wes had done and continue forward with that. As we go into the report, so facility dude, we did 103 work orders last month throughout the buildings, and we still have 24 currently that we are working on. Next would be the financial report. I believe you have that in front of you as to what our fiscal year to date was at the end of the fiscal year. I know we were a little bit above what we wanted to be, but we had quite a few projects that were addressed, some of them in need. Hopefully I can keep that under control a little bit better this year. We'll see as the time comes upon.
I have a question about the miscellaneous services that went up about 157,000.
I don't have the sheet in front of me.
Between last year and this year, and still.
So the miscellaneous, that would be things like the roofs and everything else that had gotten done that was not in a budget for the prior year, but needed to get completed.
Okay. Yeah, overall, I saw quite a few areas here that you were pretty much a little bit under, or, you know, there were some areas that, you know.
Yeah, I've only been in a position for about 3.5 weeks on my own,
right.
5.5 weeks total with a little training from Wes. So I'm not familiar with what exactly the whole scope of last year's work was done.
Right.
That's in those numbers, but hopefully from time on, sure, I will have a greater knowledge of all that and be able to address you as we go every month. Well,
I first I'd like to welcome you to the, you know, to this committee here, but I was just looking at it. I wasn't sure, you know, how much actually Wes just passed that information to you. I just saw some areas was pretty nice. You know, there's like a little bit below what we had from last year.
Sure.
And there are some areas a little bit above. But
sure.
Overall, you are correct on the very beginning of your description of the financials here is that with a little bit overall the whole year we're a little bit above.
A little bit above, and that's due to some of the necessities that we had to put into some of the bigger projects.
Mm-hmm. And we had a lot of projects this year.
A lot of projects last year. I'm glad I kind of came into that lull of them getting done and me taking over on some of the other projects. So
a lot of improvements, let's say.
A lot of improvements, yeah, correct.
A lot of improvements we've done on a lot of the buildings, which is excellent. It's better to catch up now than just wait for things to start falling apart, and then we're going to just spend a lot more money.
Well, some of that's coming. We all know that's going to happen sooner or later.
On the building report?
Building report. So here in 189, the assessor door, as we talked last meeting, we have to push that off a little bit till after the first year with the holidays and everything coming. PSI could not coordinate enough with Router Technologies to get it installed. It will happen after the first year. They're trying to complete a lot of the outdoor projects on their end before the heavy winter hits them. And this being an indoor project, I said we could go ahead and put that a little bit further back on them. Parking lot striping, once again, the winter came on us quicker than we had assumed, and we were not able to get the parking lot and the outside walk areas painted this year, but they will be on for the spring. phase 2 of the master plan for Alara is going to start happening. They're going to come down and do the scope on that. And that's the engineer study as to what equipment they're going to be able to use in the tight spaces that we have. So that will be here in the next couple weeks for them to contact us again and get down here and start that process. The emergency load system response program audit was yesterday. There was a time window of 11 to 5 p.m. and they were going to exercise for 2 hours. We did complete that, and we'll know more about that when they give us the report back. And basically that's for next year's cost revenue for us as far as energy. The annual elevator inspection was completed and passed. That's done. Courthouse, the fire protection panel upgrade is completed, and the elevator reinspection has been completed and passed over there. We're just waiting on both of those elevators to get the certificates back from the state fire marshal. The annex in the old building, old jail, exterior building sealant and glazing has been completed. The exterior panels have been pinned, and that is completed. We did not have to remove those panels after all. The engineer went up there and looked at them, and the way it was basically built, it's like a jigsaw puzzle. You have an interior jigsaw puzzle and an exterior jigsaw puzzle, and they are basically meshed together, so we could not pull them off without maybe damaging part of the interior part. So they said they are structurally sound and they're not going to move. And so what they elected to do is go ahead and drill pins through both of them at the same time, just to be safe and keep them in response. The boiler pump has been installed and is now up and functioning as of yesterday, that they had to rebuild. Water heater, we have one of the water heaters that we were waiting for parts. That was basically coming from Precision over to Glady, because that gentleman has moved over. The parts got there, they installed them, and then we find that there's pinhole leaks in the heat exchanger. So I am now talking with them to find out if it's going to be either parts to fix it, or if I have to look into buying a new water heater for the old jail. I'll know more of that. I talked to him yesterday. I'll know more of that for the next meeting for sure. I'm thinking that maybe we can get the thing just repaired instead of replacing, because that's a pretty big unit too.
I had a tour of that facility many years back when I started here, and those things are pretty old, isn't it?
No,
did we replace?
I don't know the exact date on them, but they're not quite as old as what you probably think they are.
Okay.
But just from use, of course, that thing's being used on a full command most of the days. Something like this to happen, it's probably within the last 10-year scope.
Okay.
But maybe for next meeting, I'll get a date on those water heaters for you.
Sounds good.
Out at JCDC, we have an air handler that went down, a 20-ton unit that's over Max dorm, a CDE in the officers' quarters. That happened the day before Thanksgiving. I talked to Matt and the sheriff as to how we want to proceed with looking into this. The part to replace it, that unit is 20 years old. The part would have to come from the manufacturer. It's a 5 to 7 week delivery time. So we talked about maybe, since it's a 20-year-old unit and the parts are starting to become obsolete, that we look into a new unit. And I got a guarantee on when I got quote to have it delivered and installed within a 2-week time period, because time is the crucial part, because we have to have heat for the inmates. So Matt and the sheriff came to a plan that we will go ahead and do a new unit. The cost is going to be split between the sheriff and the maintenance department here, and we should have that completed by the end of next week to get that unit back up and going. Cost effective, it was probably about 14 grand to replace the part. The new unit is about 41,000. So 20-year-old unit that could have another function go possibly wrong with it down the road. We just felt that at this time, with the time schedule and the cost effectiveness, just to buy a new unit. Matt?
And we talked with John Coughlin, and it fell under the, emergency. So
Correct.
that's why we decided to proceed with that. We wanted
Correct.
the inmates to have heat, and it's in our best interest to just get it done. So
we're moving forward with PSI. We've engaged with them before on the past showers for the max section. Now we're going to move into dorm C because there's water issues in the wall, and we're out there yesterday looking at that again. That's going to happen after the first year where they go through and do some coring, visualizing inside the block walls, and then come to the solution of getting it dried out, and if it needs repaired, repair it, and then we're going to epoxy those showers. If that all works out well, keeping the water out of the gymnasium side or the exercise room, however they want to state it, then we will continue on to the B showers after the C showers are looked at and finished.
Or all the showers, a few years back, we had started, when this committee used to be back into the, was back in the highway, we talked about switching all the curtains for doors. Have we done that?
We have, for the most part, gone to a hinged door system. They're made out of a heavy PVC. They work quite well. But in some of the places we still use curtains, especially for like the handicap accessible. It's easier for them to pull a curtain back at this point until we figure out. We do have some doors on order that's going to be a cafe style, so that maybe we can use those in replacement of the curtains. Cost effective curtains are still cheaper than doors at this point, so in the areas that we still have to keep them, we're going to try that until we figure out a better solution.
Okay. I remember had a very specific reason why we're switching, even though we can save money with the curtain.
Yes, part of it was vision. They want to be able to see into the stalls to see if, and they cover pretty much from the knee to the neckline, so it's nothing's going to be visible, and at least you can look in there and see a head or feet and see if there's something going on in there that's not supposed to be going on. And they're easier to clean. They're not yanking them down. And replacing them every other day. So
in terms of hygiene, will be better.
Hygiene would be better too. They're easier to clean.
Provide a little better hygiene for the inmates.
Correct. We're working on some glitches with Johnson Controls right now. Not sure exactly how it got to this point, but some of the controls are backwards, and we're trying to figure some of that out. So if it says it's in the heat mode, it's really not. Sometimes it says it's in the non-heat mode, and it is. So we're working on some of that. My mechanic recently ran into that. He's newer out there, so since last winter, he has found some of those controls to be backwards. We're trying to figure out why they're that way, but they are running. But we want to get them all into a visual where if it's on, it's on. If it's off, it's off. We've also procured a new lawnmower. I've talked to the undersheriff and sheriff about this when I was getting the equipment ready for winter, as far as snow plowing and salting. I also told the guys to winterize the equipment. We found a mower that the engine was blown. We took it out to All Power. They estimated about $2,200 to repair the motor. The unit is over 12 years old. It's a 60-inch mower for the jail system. And I have gotten a quote, and we are going ahead and purchasing a new mower. It's $7,000 off the top. They're going to take a $1,500 trade-in on the mower that's broken. So a new mower is going to cost us overall $5,500 for a 3-year warranty on parts and labor for the powertrain. So the cost effectiveness on that is either pay $2,200 to have an old mower repaired or $5,500 to have a brand new mower. We went ahead and got the approval through the sheriff to go ahead and buy that new mower. Animal control, we're still having some issues with the heat out there in the kennel side. The building's good, but they come to a conclusion between a couple of the heating contractors that the system is not running correctly. There's more air being drawn out through the outtake than what the air is being pushed into the kennels, so it's making it colder back there. We've had a contact with White, who built the building. I was with them again this morning. They're coming back out next Tuesday to have an engineer come with and find out what the solution is to resolve some of that. It looks as though maybe we might be putting some gas-operated heaters in the kennel instead of just an internal furnace that's running both kennel side and building side. Temporarily, we have purchased a couple of 1500 watt heaters that mount 7 feet on the wall to keep both areas of the kennel warm. This morning it was about high 40s. They're looking for it to be closer to 60 range for the animals. So at least we've got something in place that's helping out there. And we're also looking into a different system for those guillotine doors. My guys went out and built some bag systems where they take heavy 6 mil plastic, put insulation in it, and they're stuffing the doors every night. The kennel workers are stuffing the doors every night, pulling them out during the day to try to keep some of that cold air rushing through those guillotine doors. But it's still only high 40s. Compared to 10 degrees outside, it's pretty good, but we need to get that a little bit better. So White will be out next Tuesday about 9 a.m. and we're going to visualize and see what we can do to fix that solution. That's pretty much it for all the buildings. I know that the ICANN roof is completed. They were close to it last month, but they are complete with the ICANN roof as well.
Any questions for Mr. Workman? Questions, comments about the reports? No? All right, so what I need from you guys would be a motion to combine and approve all 3 reports at once. Okay. So Ms. Miller, second by Mr. Fedlin. All right, everybody in favor signify by say aye. Aye. Anybody opposed, same sign. Okay. Carries. Is there any other business? Any other business? Before we adjourn, if I don't see some of you guys until the end of December, happy holidays to everybody. So I need a motion to adjourn. Mr. Fedlin, second by Mrs. Smith. Everybody in favor, signify by say aye. Aye. Anybody opposed, same sign. Thank you, sir.